On the shores of Lake Whatcom sits Lakewood, a water sports facility owned and operated by Western Washington University. It offers students the chance to practice recreational sailing, kayaking, and canoeing.
Lake Whatcom is really an extraordinary thing for a university in that where Bellingham is geographically, what Lake Whatcom is like, what the water is like in the Northwest, the things about going to Western that I would hope everybody has the opportunity to sample. It's a rare thing, and I encourage all students to get on the water here.
It's also largely inaccessible to some of them.
Lakewood doesn't know anything about accessibility. There's no good accommodations, and I was pretty much told, don't ever bother going.
The reputation that we had, we don't care.
Davis has been the manager of Lakewood since its inception. And for most of its history, disability access hasn't been a major concern.
Since this building was built in '81, that it had accessible standards that were the standards in that time period. So we had paved parking, an access route to this room. We're trying to figure out how to attach a lift on the water so it would be a piling or a dock that would get seated participants into a boat. As far as the rest of the program, there have been people that came that wanted to participate and figured out how to get it done.
In recent years, there's been a growing interest in accessible water sports for disabled users, particularly in what U.S. Sailing has coined adaptive sailing.
I've been a tall ship sailor for a couple years. I've sailed on the schooner Zodiac and the Hawaiian Chieftain. I have fibromyalgia as my primary diagnosis, which means that I have chronic pain and fatigue. I've been disabled for 10 years. I've been using a cane for 5 years.
Like many other disabled Vikings, she believes Lakewood is failing its mission to accommodate all students.
I have always enjoyed being out on the water. I love going out on boats and just swimming in general. So when I first heard about Lakewood, I was really excited that I would have an opportunity to do that. I quickly learned that it's not very accessible, and so I only went maybe twice, and only with friends. I wouldn't go by myself. I first learned that it wasn't very accessible the first time I went with friends, and then the more that I talked with other disabled students, I began to recognize the problems.
For people with disabilities in a public forum, we will be able to make a reservation with Lakewood, have the support of either students that know how to use boats or other people to either get out on a boat or take lessons and really appreciate the water.
Wanke, who has cerebral palsy, runs a consulting firm with the stated goal of improving accessibility for people with disabilities. Lakewood invited him to an open house accessibility event to tour the facilities and find areas of improvement.
The pipes, because if you're paralyzed and you drive up,
You hit it.
you won't know your leg is on the pipe. And if you have hot water going, it might burn your leg.
Yeah.
Currently, Lakewood has some accessibility features, but still have room for improvement. Right now, it is difficult to get from the parking lot to the facility. So if you take the bus, it's difficult to get to Lakewood. And then when you're at Lakewood, it's pretty accessible.
Not everyone was as satisfied.
I was very disappointed in Lakewood after the accessibility open house.
There was just not a lot of forethought. There are only 2 accessible parking spots. Everything else is up a steep gravel hill.
The gravel is an issue if you have a wheelchair, really difficult to navigate. The last time I was there, the door was locked to get in. And the accessible entrance is not at all part of the main entrance, it's around the back.
The stairs don't have any handrails. Even if you can do stairs with handrails, there aren't any.
I couldn't get up those stairs by myself.
I had to hold on to the gutter to get up the stairs.
They're kind of rounded. If you have any depth perception issues, that's going to be difficult. When I was there this last time, there was a loose dog running around, and so I did not feel comfortable bringing my service dog with me.
It's a grievance that, despite being a university facility paid for through student tuition, Lakewood fails to meet the same rigorous standards of accessibility as the main campus.
But we've never intentionally tried to get the equipment and the training to service that community.
I don't think Western in general has great accessibility.
The bricks are pretty hard, and it's difficult to maintain those, I know, for the school, especially because the campus shifts so much and the bricks become uneven. It's a real tripping hazard. And I know for friends who are in chairs, it can be really difficult.
I think Lakewood is even farther behind.
At the end of August, Davis will retire as manager. He hopes to leave Lakewood a better place than when he arrived.
On the facility side, the lift, the dock, the adaptions to the sailboat, continue to reach out to different parts of the academic program that concern themselves with recreation and say, should this be part of your students' experience in addressing the needs of that population? It's not like the staff automatically has the skills to address those needs without training, and so the training piece of it can come from expertise in the academic side of the house, or we go outside for it, but that's an ongoing need because of the turnover in the student staff.
Reduce a lot of the bureaucratic red tape. I think that's the hardest part about getting things done at Western. I would also love to see a permanent staff position to represent disabled students. It's really difficult to make student-led changes because the turnover, is about 4 years. And especially amongst disabled students, the turnover is a lot higher. We have a greater rate of dropout by far. And so it's really hard to get momentum into student-led organizations, initiatives, things like that. And so having a permanent staff member to run those things would really give us a better foothold.
Lakewood is a wetland facility. It's funded by wetland students. I think they might be able to partner with our school or community to get funding for other people to use it, but I think that's more that later step. Making sure what they already have, the program that they already have, can be utilized by people with disabilities in the wetland community, I think would be the first step. And then after that, we can look at all the people with disabilities that are in the community or in our schools. Once we have a good program, how can we do community outreach to include those people?